All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Bush Camp. Just come over, I'll show you what I've been working on. My son Dylan, when he bought his house, got a zero-turn lawnmower in the deal, and he tried to use it, and we knew that it wasn't right, but he tried to use it, and the drive on the one side wouldn't work right, so he tore it apart, couldn't get it working. We ended up doing some trading. I got it from him. I tore it apart. I couldn't get it working. So here's what I did. I took it down, took the seat off it, got the motor tuned up good, and I built this tongue on the front. And what I can do is pull that with a four-wheeler. I will tell you, it is heavy. I had a hard time pulling it. We just got, in the last few days, my father said we got about 3 inches of rain here at the farm. So everything's wet. Maybe when it's dry, the ground is dry, maybe it'll pull a little easier. I got good tires on the four-wheeler, as you can see. But luckily, this is an Arctic four-wheeler. Arctic 300, but it's only two-wheel drive, but it's got the low speed in it for like a work utility. So let's take a ride around. I'll show you what I did. Beautiful day here at Bush Camp, Sunday afternoon, sun shining bright. My wife just made us a nice little lunch on the Blackstone, and she's on the porch just relaxing. Great day for it. The sun's shining. It's probably close to 70 degrees. I don't know exactly. Pond's looking beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And you know, we got water coming in at this end. The overflow's working. We got water coming in at the other end. I got to get the weed eater over here, and I got a few cattails started on the other side. I got to get pulled out, but I got to get the weed eater over here and get around it. But you can see the water pouring out of that pipe. This is just a secondary spring that I dug in a wet spot. I still got to finish that up and get it buttoned away, but you can see how wet it is over here. Like I said, my dad said we got like 3 inches of rain in the last 3 or 4 days here, and a lot more at my house. I live probably 35, 40 minutes away, and they got a lot more rain here. But you can see how wet this is. But I was able to get this field cut down, and obviously the more I mow it, the better off it'll be. I went over it once with that zero turn, pulling it behind this four-wheeler. You can see the grass was a foot high, 18 inches in some spots, pretty thick. And of course it was wet when I tried to do this, so it didn't really turn out the greatest. I still got some stalks hanging up, but it's no big deal. The more we mow it, the better it'll look. Something I've been wanting to do for a while. My grandparents farmed, my father farmed. My father actually still makes his hay. He's got some beef cows, still round bales his hay. But the last few years since we built this pond, we built the pond in 2020, the fall of 2020, end of summer, fall of 2020. After we built the pond, he really hasn't baled this hay in this field. He's just kind of mowed it, left it lay. So I thought, well, why not get a good mower and a good wide mower so it doesn't take very long and start mowing it. So that's what we're going to use that for. I don't know that it'll work on the pond bank or up around the cabin because of the hill, and like I said, it is so heavy that four-wheeler has a hard time pulling it, but we'll see. We'll see as the ground dries up. But here is where we first started camping. My family, my two boys and I, and Dylan's girlfriend Emily at the time. She's now his fiance. They're getting married in September, but we started camping at this spot in 2020. It was the year of COVID. You couldn't really do anything. Parks were shut down, places were shut down. We couldn't go anywhere really. So we started camping here. It's a nice level spot. Years ago we put these poles in. Eventually, my thought when I put the poles in was to build a nice hunting stand, and then eventually, you know, be able to have something we could sleep in at night, wake up in the morning and just hunt from it. Eventually we'll have a nice hunting stand there. The poles are probably 12 foot apart. So we can build a nice little deck up there, observation deck. But this was a nice level spot. This is a spot on the farm that I've always enjoyed. It's got a real nice view. It's up next to the power poles, but it's got a real nice view looking down at the valley, both sides. It's kind of overgrown on this side, but it's a nice little spot, nice and level. And we'd bring our tents and we'd pitch here, and we'd stay for, you know, night or two on the weekends, and that's what we did for the whole time during COVID. We had a nice little path through here, and I ended up mowing this path. I had a hard time mowing it. I couldn't get up this hill because, like I said, it was pretty wet. I'd spin sideways. I ended up going over through there, pulling that big heavy mower. But that's where we're at so far. Just a real nice day here at Bush Camp. Take you on a little ride up by the pond. You can see how wet it is. You can see how bad I cut in. I didn't get stuck here because it's fairly level, but we want to get that dock stained or painted. We're not really sure yet. Get that put in the water. Next weekend's Memorial Day weekend. We want to spend a lot of time over here, and you know, maybe I'll get some of these projects done, but still got to get the canopy ready. Not really sure about if I want to keep it here, if I want to move it. Just a lot of things I haven't really decided yet for this year. Want to make some changes over what we've done in the past, but you can see it's just a beautiful spot. One thing about where the canopy is now, it's kind of in the shade, especially in the afternoon, because the sun sets over, you know, on that side of the trees, so it makes a nice shade for the afternoon. That's when we usually have our picnics and parties and stuff. Family and friends show up. But just another day at Bush Camp. Trying to get caught up on some stuff. I'm not going to mow the rest of the lawn. I don't have my weed eater with me. I'll have to come over one night during the week this week and get that stuff done. Let the ground dry out a little bit. It's just too wet. Too wet. I'm going to get stuck. I'm not going to be able to mow it. But here you can see the cabin. Old Bush Camp. Thanks for watching, guys.